Hi everybody, I'm Anna Zielinski and welcome back to the Producer's Desk. Okay, so today we're talking about cost reports. Now this isn't the most glamorous, it's not like, I like to say it's not the sexiest topic, but I have to tell you that a lot of producers I work with do not always know how to read a cost report or are not sure how to manage it. So I thought, hey, let me do a video on this and just doing the basics, just cost report 101. I want to show you what a cost report is. I want to go through the different categories and just really touch on each of them lightly. And then I'll give you a little bit of maybe cost reporting 102, delving into some things under the EFC ETC category. So let's jump right into one. Alrighty, what is a cost report? This is a cost report. It is basically a financial document here that shows production costs at any given moment. And in this moment, this is end of show. I've already delivered this film and these were the costs. I've redacted the main information. So I could show it to you. So this is real, y'all. This is real. You can see the different categories up here when the production report was run and the currency it's in up in here. And the period for this one is basically all costs to this point. But as you are in production and you've started pre-production and costs start accumulating, you can ask all the periods typically run weekly, Sunday to Saturday. So you'd ask your accountant for say last week's cost report and they'll run it, and any costs prior to that week will just be accumulated and reflected here, which leads me into my categories, so I can just go right into it. So let's go into the categories. This is the account category and the description. You will have a budget that you will give your accountant, and this budget you have done in Movie Magic, which is the most standard. And again, for some of you guys that are on lower budgets, low to no budgets, I'll go over that at the end of this because then you would be using something smaller like an Excel grid, which there's a way to do this. It's just a little more complicated. It's nice to have access to an accounting software, and even smaller productions can have access to this stuff, which I'll talk to you about after we get to through the categories. So let's just jump right into it. So these are the categories that would be in your budget and the account numbers. So those match, and that's the descriptions. So this mirrors your budget, and basically I'm just jump right here. This budget, this line here that says budget, is the actual number that you budgeted for. So in this case, we budgeted at 1.914778. So I had a budget that matched this exactly. I had them input into the system, and this is what all the numbers will be compared against, whether we hit the number, whether we saved money, or we're over. Okay, so let's jump over here. Current would be the spend in this period. So at this point in time, we're wrapped. So this is cumulative. I spent $1,000 in scenario. The cost to date is $1,000. PO, purchase orders. So purchase orders are basically an agreement between a buyer and a seller that I'm going to purchase these goods or services, and you give them all the basic, billing information and such, and it just lets them know that I'm doing this with you. Once you fulfill that purchase and you pay for it, then it turns into an invoice and then it's paid. So we sometimes will PO things in our budget, knowing that I'm going to spend this money and I do not want it to go anywhere. Like I know for a fact that let's jump to, well, there's no POs in this one, but let's do an example here under, say, camera. Let's just say I know I made a deal with my camera house and I am spending $50,000 on camera equipment. So I would tell my accountant, hey, I'm going to do a purchase order for this. Let's earmark those funds because we don't want that money spent. We know for a fact we need that. So they would plug a PO in here for $50,000. So then that amount, then plus whatever the cost is reflected in this total cost to date. So it's earmarked and expensed right away. So you can't, that money can't be used for anything else. A lot of times in productions that are shorter, like a lot of ours would run 15 days with a couple weeks prepped, then I go straight to invoicing. I didn't do POs because it moves so fast. So we're just going to invoice, pay, get the equipment, go. But now you know what a PO is, and it's not being PO'd. Although I get PO'd a lot in this process. Okay, enough of Anna's jokes. You know you love my jokes, right? Okay. Total CTD, total cost to date. So basically this column is what was spent during the week plus any POs is that total here. So you see the math is pretty simple here with no purchase orders. It's 1,000 that was spent, 1,000 that's current, 1,000 total. Yeah. ETC, estimate to complete. So as you start spending, you have this budgeted amount, right? And you're ticking away at it. Tick, 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 tick. And in the ETC line, if you're not done spending, there's going to be what money's left at that point in time to spend. So I do have an example for you here. So looky here. This is where we were in post at this time, and I picked this cost report to show you because these were things that were finally spent for post, but not, the ETC was not zeroed. And let me show you what I mean here. So take a look here. Special visual effects, we have editing, music, post, sound, color, titles, deliverables, and insurance, or deliverables. So you see these numbers here are the monies left to spend in each of these post accounts as compared to these accounts where they've all been zeroed out now that production is over. Great news at this point in post. We were on budget, so no overages. The main takeaway here for you is just understanding ETC is the estimate to complete. And when you are done, any numbers that are in this line gets zeroed out. It gets offset against the budget line and creates, look, the variances here. So these were all zeroed out. Production is done. They zeroed out these ETCs, and you can see how we had variances populate here. And everything with the parentheses is an overage. So like look at extra talent here. The budget was $20,005. We spent $23,600. So there's a net change of $3,176. Over. But the good news, you can have overs and unders here. And once you're done, you have in the category. So you have a total above the line. So let me show you above the line where we actually we saved some moolah. Okay, we saved a lot of moolah. Look at this. So I budgeted $707,000 here. Yeah. So this next, let me just jump to this next column, is the estimated final cost. Done. I'm done spending. This is that column. Take a look. I'm at $489,742. What? I saved $200,000 here. This was a good producer. We worked a lot. Our cast costs were not what we thought they'd be. So there was a lot of padding, like I said, and when I delve deeper, if you guys want that into budgeting for cast and so forth, there's ways to pad those lines, and I purposely pad those lines in case I have an expensive cast member, and in case I have overages and certain things that I try to anticipate, so I'll pad for that beyond the contingency. But here's it's a really good one. We saved $217,000. So look here, right here, I was over budget by $17,000 in the below the line. But because I had a savings of $217, we go down to the bottom here, our variance is just $200. So I still had an overall savings in this budget. Look, I was at 1914778. I came in at 1714686 with a net savings of $200,000. We did real good on this one. This was a studio one. They were happy. Happy. Okay, so just jumping back here to the categories. Again, I try not to, I don't want to confuse you too much on the ETC thing. It took me a minute to get keen on that. But if you have a good accountant and a good line producer, you are a-okay, because they will walk you through all these things. And if you don't, good luck. I'm just kidding, but it makes it a lot harder if you don't have the background in this world. Now, if you do, great, you lead the charge. And then you can work with more inexperienced line producers and accountants. I've had both. Very seldom do I have someone that's really awesome at this. I hate to tell you, it really is. A lot of folks don't know this side. And that's not to say, you can't learn. And I just learned as I go. But remember, my background's accounting, so I was kind of drawn to numbers and organizing numbers and understood it a little bit more just right off the bat. But there was always things I had questions about, and I had an amazing accountant, production accountant, and he's here. And I love that because he elevates me, and I have no problems asking questions. I have no problems getting refreshed on certain things here where I'm interpreting the cost report, making sure I'm understanding the logic and how they're posting things and so forth. We worked in tandem. It's a good partnership. So really find someone that you trust in that world as far as production accounting, and then as far as line producing too. Okay, and I harp on this all the time. It's all about good housekeeping, clean records, especially with the money. Because whether you are reporting to your investor or you're reporting to your studio head, you need to know how every dollar is spent. And the last thing you want to do is go, I don't know where that is, or I'm not sure how much. I hope this video itself was helpful in the way of you've seen a cost report, you know the general categories now, you know what it's for. So that way when it comes across your desk, you're not like, what is this? I want a lot of tools in your toolbox. You know how I am. I want to make sure that you're familiar, because look, we learn every day. I constantly learn new things, and I love it. That's what life's about. Growing and knowing, eh? All right. So, yeah, you found this video helpful. Hit like, subscribe, all the good stuff. You know what to do down there. Ring the bell. Share this with your fellow filmmakers. And yeah, just let me know what you think. And always remember, you know my motto, together we create.